So let's take a look at the exterior wall, exterior wood siding on wood studs. So you can scroll up and down, make sure you get to that one. And when I look at this, I'm going to edit type. So I just want you to sort of pay attention to the properties on this. So if I edit this structure, you'll notice that it already has siding, clapboard siding, air infiltration, 1/2 inch plywood, 2x6 because it's 5.5 inches, vapor barrier, and then gypsum wallboard, 1/2 inch gypsum wallboard on the inside. So they've already preset this exactly as I want this wall to be. They even show you the R value. It's 8.3. So why isn't it higher? Because they don't show you the insulation that would be inside a 2x6 wall, which is probably about an R19. So if you add 19 to 8, then we're getting about 27 for the R value, which is pretty good for an exterior wall. So just wanted you to kind of see some of the extra things you can do with Revit as far as finding R values and things like that. So we actually don't need to do anything to this. It's perfect as it is. And the same thing is true for this interior wall. If I edit type and I go into it, you can see it's a 1/2 inch wallboard, and it's a 2x4, so it's 3.5 inches, and then another 1/2 inch gypsum wallboard. So those are already preset, so that is pretty convenient. So we're going to go back to our exterior wall, and I'm going to set this up as a finish face interior because I want it to be the sort of the interior dimensions to be set on this. I'm going to draw this wall as a 9-foot wall, unconnected, and I'm just going to do a really quick design here. We're going to make this 30. So if I type in 30, it's exact. Then I go over here and I'm going to type in 38. And now if I go down, you can see it just snaps. And there we go. So now I have a 30 by 38. Now you're seeing the dimensions. It doesn't show that. That's because it's showing center of wall, which for now, that's fine. I don't really care about that dimension. I'm also just seeing a hollow wall. I want to see the details. So we're going to go down here. We're going to click on detail level, fine. So please do that after you draw your exterior walls. And then we're going to go into view, and we're going to go to view thin lines. So at this point, you should pause this and draw your exterior walls and try to make them pretty close to their actual size. Doesn't matter if they're exact. We'll fix that in a second. Now that you have your exterior walls drawn, now, I probably should have showed you that you need to draw this clockwise, because if you didn't and you click your exterior wall, you're going to see that your double arrows are on the inside, which means that you drew your wall backwards. And so we can't do that. So just click on your wall, make sure your double arrows are on the outside, and it will flip the wall. Your dimensions might change a little bit. Again, not an issue because we're going to fix them later on. So let's show you really quick how we can do some interior walls. So I'm going to do an interior, and I'm going to go to architecture. Whoops, I changed that wall. I don't want the wall to be selected when I click on it. So we'll go back to that one and deselect it. Now I'm going to go to wall. I'm going to choose my interior wall. And let's say I just want to, we'll go modify place. Let's say I just want to draw a bedroom. So I'm going to say so you see that says it's 10 feet 6 inches. Again, don't worry about the exact dimensions. I know that I was going to draw my bedroom like this, and I'm going to put maybe a bathroom, right there. And then I have another bedroom that goes right here. We'll go all the way to the end. Okay, so something like that. All right, now this wall, let's see what the issue is with that wall. So if you had placed your exterior walls and you notice these double arrows are on the inside instead, that means your wall is backwards. So, just double check these, make sure that they're on the outside. The way that you can avoid that is always by drawing things clockwise. I know that sounds weird, but that's kind of how Revit does it, to make sure that the outside is on the outside. So we're going to go over to architecture. I'm going to deselect that just by clicking somewhere on the screen, and I'm going to click on wall, and I'm going to make an interior wall. So let's go ahead and draw a wall in here. So I'm going to draw a wall. Let's make a room about 10 feet. You see that said 11. We're drawing from the center of this wall. Don't worry so much about that piece. And you notice also that my wall is 8 feet tall. That is what I want, an 8-foot tall wall with a 9-foot exterior. So we're going to draw this. I'm going to do it 12 feet because I know I have a closet in there. And maybe that's my, bathroom is here. Then let's extend this, match it up with that one. There we go. I'm going to extend it all the way to the wall. Then I click modify. So now I have my basic room. So you're going to want to say like, well, I want my room to be exact. So let me show you how to do that. And then you can start working on all your walls. So if we click on aligned dimension right up here, that's the shortcut for it. You can also click on the annotate and then click on Aligned. That is our dimension tool. Now, right now, you see it's always going to the center of the wall. That is really never going to be very helpful for us. So we're going to change this from wall centerline to wall face, and that is way more helpful. So I'm going to set this so that I have this bedroom, let's see, from here to here. I want this room to be exactly 10 feet. So now I click Modify. Whatever wall I select that's attached to this dimension is the wall that will change. So if I make this thing 11 feet, then you can watch this wall, it will move down because I made the room bigger. If I make this wall 10 feet, then this wall is the one that moves, it moves up. If I selected this wall and I change it to 11, watch what happens. That wall expands. So just make sure you're clicking the correct wall to actually make it move. Now I did need to have a closet in here, so I'm going to do this and I'm going to say that that's my closet right there. Then if I hit DI, the keyboard shortcut DI is the same as clicking this. That is a shortcut that will speed this up for you. So I got wall face. It remembers that I selected that last time. Let me zoom in, click from here to here, click that, and I say, which wall do I want to move? Probably that one. And I click here, hit 2, and now I have a 2-foot closet. We are going to want these dimensions to be in there and sort of set. Then we're going to do some doors. So you do need to have a 36-inch door for your front door, and you need a 36-inch door for your guest bathroom because that is a handicap accessible bathroom. So 36 by 80 is the number, 80 height. So this one has side lights. This is like a front door that has like those glass side panels. I guess I could put that as my front door. Great, there we go. That has to open in. Let me go to a different door here. So here's a 36 by 80. Let's say that's my bathroom door, and I need it to open out so that it doesn't take up space in the inside. Fine. Then if I want to put a bedroom door that is maybe 30 inches into here, you can see I didn't size that room right. So that's not going to work. So let's maybe expand that. Maybe I didn't draw my dimensions right. You're going to have to be a little flexible with your dimensions as you're working on this in case you made some mistakes there. If you want to do a 28-inch door, maybe 30 is just a little too big. You can go as small as 28. Then you would have to edit this. You'd have to duplicate it. We'd have to call this a 28, and then you can change your width to 2 foot 4 inches and apply. Now I've made a 28-inch door. I could have deleted that 2 there, but I didn't care. So there we go. So now I have that door into this bedroom, and now I have a 28-inch door. So you could go as small as that. So you're going to have to do some of those things to get your doors in and set up. Again, only the guest bath needs to be a 36 and the front door. You also need a side door somewhere in here. I don't like these for my side door that's maybe going off of my dining room or kitchen. So when I click door, I can go to load door, load family, and this is where I need to double check on this. Here we go. Double check, make sure you're in the English Imperial Library. And then we're going to go to doors. You'll do the same thing for windows when you want to load up custom windows. So I'm going to go to doors, and I'm going to notice, hey, I want for my closet, I want it to be a bifold door. This is a 2-panel bifold. That's like the single accordion door. This is the 4-panel bifold. So you could do a bifold, you could do a sliding door. If you want your exterior door for your dining room to be like a, let's see, a door that is, I don't know, some of these have glass in them. Double glass door, something like that. It allows you to do that. Do not choose the curtain wall. Those will not load. That is a special thing that we use for our commercial project later on. So no curtain wall doors. There's a lot of other doors here in residential and commercial and hardware. So I'm going to pick this bifold because I know this is one that is pretty helpful. And when I place it here, you can see that there are some options. It could be 60, 66 inches, 72 inches. I can make it a 4-foot panel bifold door. I can edit and duplicate this and make it only 80 inches tall instead of 84 inches tall. There's a lot of things you can do for this. So that would be adjusting the height of it. Instead of 7 feet, you can make it 6 feet 8. I'm going to leave it like this, and I'm going to just plop it in right there. So now I have a bifold door in my closet. Let's take a look at this and see how it looks. We're going to double click 3D view, and I want to make sure that my my trim isn't like blocking this wall. So I'm going to go over and let's see, check it maybe from this angle, and you can see, hey, that's great. It's not inside the wall. I'm going to click the right arrow key a couple times. You can see that would be a problem right there if it's that orientation. So just the arrow keys are a really easy way to move it around. If it doesn't work left to right in either direction, you either need a bigger entrance or a smaller door. So you can check those things out after you place your doors. That is what's giving you room for the trim. So just double check those doors. And now I want to go back to first floor. If I just click first floor, boom, it's open right there. I don't always have to go over here. Last thing you got to do is windows. And according to our Habitat for Humanity, we should be doing windows that are window single hung. So if I go into load family and I go back one level and I go to windows, then I can find my single hung windows that are down here. Here we go, single hung. And you can make a single hung window that is any custom size. So it's going to probably update them, but just keep in mind you can edit these, make them any size, and then place them where you need to in your project.